There is a time, just after the heat of the day has faded, when the world exhales. The air is warm, but no longer blazing. The ground still hums with heat. Dry grass brushes against your legs. The scent of night blooming flowers drifts in on a slow breeze. And somewhere in the dark, the earth begins to speak with a whole new symphony of sounds and smells. They are perfumes for that hour. Romantic, yes, but not in a grand dramatic look at me way. They are intimate romances, skin warm, but with nice aromatic diffusion. In this video, I'll take you through 10 fragrances that feel like a memory of a summer at midnight. A time when nothing is urgent and everything feels like a secret worth starting a diary for. Again. It all started with me blindly purchasing my second scent from the different company. If I'm not mistaken, Jacques-Claude Ellena started this company a while ago. They had a good run, and via the recent, I would say, a decade, they kept trying to kind of revive the company, reestablish the DNA, and unify and sharpen the marketing. One of their more recent releases, that's what sparked my interest, it was White Zagora, but this one, which I just kind of like added to the bag, that really ignited a whole new chapter, a whole new olfactory storytelling that I would like to share with you. So this is the different company After Midnight. Being the cheapskate that I am when it comes to buying things blindly, especially blindly, I got myself a refill. First of all, I do generously share and sell decants. All the links are going to be down below. Don't tell anyone. This is for us, right? This is for those who understand. After Midnight, I have been decanting. This is my fourth decant just in the last couple of months. And it's on the surface, even though it is devoted to that exact idea, the midsummer night, when you feel the blooms, the white floral blooms that are becoming a little bit more sensual. They're neither fresh or metallic, nor they are super animalic. They just have this very smooth, very rosy almost character. That's how most people think of a rose as a flower, though there are many types of roses and many types of represent a rose in perfumery. So here we have this really cool combo, a very tightly knit combo of fresh bergamot plus white floral notes, and I could easily sell it's a jasmine or it's a smanthus or this or that, maybe a little bit of a gardenia, but they're weaved in with benzoin, with rather heavy, and traditionally we think of those notes as kind of heavy and gourmand, and we usually find them at much more evening wear, spicy and Middle Eastern fragrances. And yet here everything is just a hint, it's just a whisper, and they're so nicely weaved in together that it's the most soothing, non-gourmand and non-animalic kind of whispering white floral with a bit of the sweetness lurking in the background. It really does not blossom as well on the blotter. On the blotter, I would say it's kind of like yet another soft floral jasmine-centric scent, nothing to write home about. But when I put it on my skin, and when I stepped out in it in the Floridian summer night, it just transformed. It transcended my wildest expectations of a jasmine scent. There's something about this one, and I think these are the kind of base notes, the heavier ones that are very carefully hidden here. You don't really notice them until you put it on your skin. Is when you really, things just start moving. It's one of those chemical experiments, if you had those in middle school, when you add one ingredient and another ingredient and a third ingredient, a catalyst, and the liquid changes color, something starts bubbling or producing smoke. That's what happens with after midnight when you put it on your skin and expose it to heat. Unbelievably beautiful. I'm a big fan. As I told you, I've been obsessed. This is my 4th decant. I'm working my way through it. One cool thing to note, I don't know if you can see it, the color of this liquid is dark blue, and depending on how it macerates and ages, it's gonna be, if you buy a full-size bottle, it's gonna be either light blue when it's fresh and new, but when it gets exposed to sun and to the elements, to the oxygen, it usually turns more purple. Not a problem. It's just the way the fragrances age. You pretty much can rely on it smelling still good as long as you don't heat it up substantially. I adore it. I love it. And I am going to be bathing in this up until probably late September. There is something so Shakespearean about this fragrance. It's deceitfully light. It's the comedy of errors in a way. You smell it on the blotter, you expect one thing, you put it on your skin, you get another thing. You step out in the humidity of subtropical midnight in summer, and it's a completely new story altogether. That got me started thinking about midsummer nights. What else evokes this very feeling? It has to be aromatic without being austere or too much of a masculine fougere. It has to be sensual without being super sexy musky. And I found you quite a collection to go through. The first one to follow, the fragrance that inspired it all, would be Melancholia by French niche brand Le Liquide Imaginaire, very hard to pronounce. Imaginary liquids, I guess that would be a direct translation. The thing about Melancholia is that it came out in a limited edition, kind of like a special collection, and didn't really catch that much traction, that collection, that much attention or praise. So when I was buying it, and I was buying a blind, and it's completely covered in barcodes, I'm sorry. This is not the native lid. I just put it on so you see what the bottles generally look like. Melancholia is very well named creation. It gives dry hay with some fruity aromatic quality to it, and in that sense it's close in its feel. It feels like warm, just dry grass that was exposed to July heat the whole day, and the sun is finally down, and you start feeling this herbaceous, almost sweet vapor emanating from the soil, from earth. Melancholia is the feeling, bittersweet feeling. Something has passed, but it's something worth remembering, something that still brings you worth and almost this kind of lustful longing for days or life or people that no longer are in your life for this or that reason. And Melancholia is not necessarily a happy feeling. It kind of depends. I guess nostalgia would be a more of a upbeat version of Melancholia. But to me, this is not sad. I would have expected something a little bit more sad, vetiver, kind of almost maybe subdued mineral accord of some kind, something very cerebral, something that's almost like Tundra by There's Tundra by Perfume Roma, which is sweeter, but Tundra by Rouge Bani Rouge, or Greyland by Montal. That I would think that's Melancholia. So this is the upside of Melancholia. This is definitely longing for simpler times, for summer vacations. Maybe it's even a little childish because it gives me this like dry grass, not necessarily hay, but in that area. And the way that they made this fresh but aromatic accord, is what I can see online, is a combination of, guess what is my favorite ingredient this year? Ginger, mint, lemongrass, bay leaf, cardamom, suede, and musk. So you can imagine suede, musk can mean anything. There are sour musks, there are sweet musks, there are kind of animalic, thick musks. It can mean a thousand things. Here, think of skin like sebum, like softness. Not BO, not anything pungent. The musks that kind of make you feel like you put lotion on. Suede feeling, it's a very soft landing. It's very caressed, cuddled type of landing in the base notes. And cardamom does pretty much the same thing. Very soothing. And to me, the aromatic dry herbs or dry hay, dry grass is essentially lemongrass, mint, bay leaf, and ginger. I would have never guessed this as a ginger fragrance, so I would say it's more like an honorary mention. Neither I recognize clearly bay leaf or mint or lemongrass. It's just all together this soft herbaceous feel that is warmed up by very soothing, intimate, suede musk. Melancholia in particular is not something that I find leaves a lot of trail or stays a long time, but it's so beautifully content to be intimate that I don't blame it for it. And generally, I like switching things up. I like to use up my perfume collection, so I don't mind things not lasting all day long. That's definitely not my top of my preference. I always go, my guilty pleasure is hanger appeal, so the opening of a fragrance, the top notes. And I think that's pretty much a very contemporary view of how you compose a good perfume. The opening notes need to be grabby and interesting. Otherwise, nobody has that kind of attention span or time to go through hours and days and months of testing and surviving blasé or unpleasant first 30 minutes to get to the good stuff, the heart of the perfume. So Melancholia for me definitely has this top notes hanger appeal mode. There's not much change or development that I can see happening with time. So if you're into the beast mode perfumes, I don't think, okay, there's probably 2 of them that would qualify in this video. Otherwise, expect diffusion, that all of them have a lot of diffusion, a lot of this kind of beautiful cloud, but they're not necessarily designed for you to smell them after drinking 5 cocktails in a club. It's a different story altogether. The other one I had to include because Laguna by Salvador Dali deserves your attention, not only because it's beautiful niche quality of a make in a incredibly evocative packaging. It's also a cheapie. It's also an undersung hero in my collection, and it's also the one that opens much better on the skin than is on the blotter. I recently showed Laguna to a friend who's not into perfumes at all. She completely blocked it, like said, nope, it's a blacklist. Absolutely not. Laguna smells weird, smells chemical. I don't understand what this is. Several hours later, when I put it on my wrists and walked by, she followed me and asked, what is this incredible Mediterranean seashore goodness that you're wearing? Guess what that was? It was Laguna. As I said before, one of the better creations by Salvador Dali as a brand definitely has niche factor, uniqueness of the composition. However, in the classical form of how fragrances were marketed in the 90s, if you open Fragrantica and try to make sense of a pyramid, you will not be able to figure out what is it supposed to smell like. I think that's one of the trends that is undeniable in the modern fragrance production and the modern culture and modern creation of any products, being digital or real. We're moving away from describing sources or ingredients or what something is made of, away from the chemical constituents into the world of perception. It's way more functional to so-called consumer. It's also way more interesting as a storytelling tool. Nobody really cares if you used 0.5% of certain jasmine extraction from this region, or benzoin or vanilla of this particular kind from this particular supplier. It just doesn't really make any sense, especially if you have 40 ingredients in any perfume. But if you say that it smells like vanilla ice cream with a little bit of black pepper and pistachio on top of it, now we're talking. You know what I mean? So same with Laguna. The official descriptions are not going to help you. So either read what Salvador Dali marketing release was, which was about Mediterranean seashore, or just try it. It's not that expensive, and the bottle form factor is astonishing. Not much has been released in the world of fragrance to really be able to compare with it. Laguna is a linear fragrance. It smells the same as it opens and as it ends. Since it's very cheap, I mean, at least now when I'm recording this video, and I have 2 backups, just so you know, that I carefully hide from the sun, because this is one of the perfumes that can go bad. Usually all perfumes that aim at fresh, ozonic, marine notes don't have a long shelf life, so just something to keep in mind. Or at least be very careful in how you store them. It gives me this salty, but not in your face. A lot of mineral salty beach accords these days in contemporary perfumery. Remember, this was made 30 years ago, over 30 years ago. They are very literal. Like, you will smell salty caramel very explicitly. Here, it's more of a hint of these eucalyptus, bergamotto, citrusy, salty, kind of dry pines walking through the Mediterranean coast, somewhere in the south of Spain, I imagine. You only get a hint of it, but it's not really neither naturalistic nor in your face strong. And this is why I actually like Laguna. I would call this aromatic, but what people call an aromatic fougere these days is usually something that you can wash windshield window with. Like the modern contemporary aromatic fougères that are marketed usually toward men are beasts. They are chemical weapons, essentially. This is so ethereal, so soft. I love it. I keep reusing it. It's been 30 years and I still keep rebuying it. A definitely verifiable highbrow niche offering in this category would be Histoire de Parfums French niche brand 1899, devoted to Hemingway. I was looking for something that had the best qualities of dry herbs without, as I said before, without going to the category of aromatic fougères. Think Old Spice or what you think is aftershave. No screechy eucalyptus plus lavender plus Ambromax these days. None of that. And something to be aromatic, meaning when you breathe it, you feel this opening in your lungs without being too refreshing, too bright, because we're going for this midsummer night breeze, just this warmth that you just want to freeze and smell it, smell the night. 1899 definitely has that quality, and I swear I smell lavender, even though when I look at the pyramid officially released by the brand, lavender is not really stated. It opens with, people say it's bright opening. To me, it's very, very soft and subdued opening. It's bergamot, black pepper, juniper. Maybe the whole composition, the blend style of 1899 is whispering to me. It's a very delicate, very thinly weaved in perfume. I would never have associated that with Hemingway unless he had an alter ego that was soft, cuddly, couch potato type of a man. Not aware, I haven't read his biography. But when I think of Hemingway, I think of this rather simplistic guy who is obsessed with the most bro-ish definitions of masculinity and this almost abrasive quest for authenticity, for being analog, one with nature, survivalism. 1899 by Histoire de Perfumes is anything but abrasive or masculine, really. It's just very soft, very quiet, very soft, spicy perfume. In the middle notes, let me double check, we should have cinnamon, iris, and orange blossom, and vanilla amber vetiver in the base. I would be standing here guessing what that was if I didn't see the pyramid, and it's very hard for me to pull out any given note. It's just all together this soft midsummer breeze. If you want a little bit more of what to me is softness of lavender, but here I presume is black pepper and iris plus orange blossom and cinnamon. But to me, it's this like aromatic, spicy softness of lavender without lavender. I love it. It's one of the best sellers by the brand, so keep that in mind. All right, this one is for those of you who have been sitting not so patiently waiting for a true projection and longevity beast. This one is for you guys, and yet it fits the description of this video, the mood, the lore of Midsummer Nights to the T. Mentha Religiosa by French niche brand Rue & Rue. I am not the biggest fan of their packaging. That said, this is the one that caught my attention mainly through critics, perfume critics, and people who know a thing or two about perfume construction, because it is very rare, exceedingly rare, to find a perfume that has mint central to the construction of the fragrance that lasts forever. Citrus notes, mint are the top notes. Those are very light molecules that compose those accords. There's nothing you can do really to extend their longevity other than combine it with other chemicals that sort of kind of hint or you associate with citrus or mint, but are not really, so you can have that prolonged lasting effect. There are some agents, chemical agents, that you can add to kind of fixate perfume composition. So there are secret sauces. I don't know what kind of alchemy was done by Rue & Rue, but this is the only perfume I know of that has mint in the heart. You feel mint all the way through, up to 10 hours. I usually apply one spray on the back of my hands. I tap, and I'm done. I kid you not. These, another level. Not only is long lasting, it's mint that is long lasting. Absolute star in the world of niche perfumery for these very characteristics is very rare, very unusual. That said, about the fragrance itself, here we have I would say a mix of peppermint and spearmint, more even peppermint, I would say, with this kind of icy effect, mixed with oil, the mint oil, if you ever tried that, mint oil and incense. And I think incense is what carries it through for hours and hours without it losing intensity or intrigue. I don't smell any overt church smell. It's not incense heavy. I think whatever they mean by incense only plays a supportive role somewhere in the background. To me, it's the most hearty, oily, intense mint that I've ever tried. I could not include it in Midsummer Nights because the aromatic herbs such as mint, lavender, thyme, maybe piney smells, bergamot. This is what I really think makes you breathe in the air at night. Incredible creation. I would heavily recommend you get yourself a generous, I'd say 5 ml sample that will probably last you a year. My gift to the beast mode lovers, number 2, Perfume Roma Acqua Zucchero. The whole brand of Perfume Roma is, I would put it on the pedestal of what rich, complex making of a perfume that lasts forever should look like. This is not one of those chemical factories when you add a bunch of amberwood, ambermax, amberxan, and God knows what, saffronol, everything that's now tries to combine Ganymede with Baccarat Rouge and add some synthetic oud notes into it. That's a completely different genre. If you're looking for a real craft, almost like old school French/Italian perfumery, but you demand that it stays with you for 24 hours, everything by Perfume Roma will stand the test of time. I find that they are fairly linear, even though it doesn't bother me because they are so dynamic and fairly complex that I don't get bored. So Acqua Zucchero is specifically fitting the narrative of Midsummer Nights and blossoming in heat, because not only I have worn half of this travel that I got in Italy, a friend of mine asked me for a decant, begged me for a decant because these are pricey. Just so you know, they're very pricey. I don't know if you can see it. They have so much of perfume oils in this alcoholic solvent in the base that it almost feels like they're half oil themselves. And I do feel this oily feeling with all of their perfumes. All of them do give me this slightly oily feeling. Maybe Ichnusa, which is their fig version, doesn't have it. Everything else has a substantiveness in it. Acqua Zucchero is lemon candy plus pink sugar. Think Aqualina pink sugar or La Via Belle. But remove any of that unnecessary abstract rosiness, these floral concepts that you can't even pinpoint. Just keep the most delicious lemons that are marinated in sugar crystals. It has such an incredible quality to breathe life into itself with heat, specifically with heat. It's not common that perfumes that are that powerful and that linear, that they behave well in a tropical heat, but this one does. It becomes almost 10 times more pretty, more beautiful, charming, and flirtatious when you expose it to heat. Acqua Zucchero by Perfume Roma. If you demand the quality, longevity, and complexity with a price tag, that's where it's at. This one I'm gonna tease you with because this is a boutique line that's been discontinued and very hard to find unless you look at the link down below. But it's gotta be said, if you have a bottle, pull it from your shelves, refresh it, fall in love again. Maybe you can find it in other places if you absolutely need a full-size bottle, but I can also get you a supply. This is Elie Saab Essence Number 1 Rose. It is very rare for me to find a rose that in its boutique version, because a lot of high-end designer brands have their boutique lines, and majority of them have at least one rose scent. And most of that rose, it gives me this very rich, syrupy, darker rose feel, which is great. I love that. I have a number of roses of that kind. But to get something that's dry, spicy, and almost souffle made with roses. Imagine, obviously, you would put some vanilla in it just to make it sweeter. But if it was a souffle with a rose scent, so it's gourmand, but it's light, it's ethereal, but it's still a gourmand. We're not going to fresh roses, we're not going to fruity roses, we're not going to any of these usual dimensions that perfumers tend to explore with a rose. This is one of the most unusual, soft, appetizing rose soufflés I've ever tried. It's not too vanilla because it has some kind of dry spiciness to it that I adore. It's very rare and it opens up with heat. It doesn't fold on itself. Some heavy rose smells collapse in the humidity of Florida heat. This one blossoms even more. It has wonderful diffusion and projection without being annoying or too self-serving. It's not like you are wearing the fragrance. With some sense, fragrance wears you, and you're just a carrier, a host of a scented virus. In this case, it becomes part of you. It cuddles you. It envelops you. And this is what I really love this one about. If there is one rose that corresponds to this feel of midsummer nights, let it be Elie Saab Essence Number 1 Rose. It would be silly of me to make this video and not to mention my all-time favorite. It's my all-time favorite first date perfume, or my charmer perfume, what I use as a weapon to be liked in the company of people I don't know. It also is a perfect starter if you are looking for almondy perfumes or powdery perfumes. So Tardes by Carner, Barcelona is my secret, not so secret anymore, weapon. I have decanted it so many times. This is my second bottle and I'm almost at the end of it. I have wore it numerous times. This is something I just go for when I need some comfort zone feel. It also is in my nude perfume collection top 10. And if you look at the pyramid, there's plenty of things there. Almond, heliotrope, many other things. Let me kind of simplify it for you. Essentially, we have almond cookies, but with a floral accord on top of it and just a sprinkle of sugar powder. Not sugar, not syrup, sugar powder. You know when you lick a cookie and you get a little bit of that white sugar powder on your tongue? It's just that hit of powderiness, sweetness, something, and then you actually feel the taste of the cookie itself. So almond cookies with just a hit of, or maybe even almond souffle. Because cookies, somebody could imagine something way more heavier, way more kitchen spice. It is so light, ethereal, friendly, cuddly. I was having a conversation with a friend and I asked her so many years later, so what do you think of Tardes? And she was like, oh yeah, absolutely. It's a default one. If I need to meet people and I want them to like me, Tardes. You wear it as much for yourself as you wear it for other people. It's a charmer. And given its soft ethereal quality, if I had to choose one more powdery, heliotrope, almondy perfume to fit the bill, Tardes. Tardes, Carner, Barcelona is what midsummer nights are all about. If you love almond cookies, sugar powder, souffles, with a bit of a floral hint, it's like that flowy dress that makes you move with fluidity. What a charmer. Incredible. And this, I hope, will be a unique twist to our conversation tonight. Vanori by Sylvain Delacourt. I was thinking about how to complement the whole notion of me being in the subtropics here in Florida, and I found the perfect tropical soft souffle of fragrance. Usually when we talk about frangipani, I have a few really good frangipani scents, but none of them would justify or fit into the mood of midsummer nights, that soft breeze, that edible gourmand that's just a whisper, or any note has to be caressing your skin instead of loudly announcing its presence. So vanori is waffles, Belgian waffles, with a little bit of honey, or even I would say maple syrup more so, and frangipani, also called manoi, also called plumeria. The tropical flower, one of the key tropical flowers that makes us think of a tropical vacation. It is from a vanilla line by Sylvain Delacourt, and it's the least vanilla of them all. So here, vanilla pretty much plays the role of Belgian waffle plus honey. Again, to me, it's more like maple syrup than honey, but they say honey in their website. And beautiful, soft frangipani floral add on to it on top. And everything here is so soft, so fluffy, so finely milled. It's very romantic. There's nothing here that reminds me of a fruit salad or of a heavy gelato type of a vanilla. None of that. Delicate, complex, and yet very accessible and friendly. One of the best midnight summer tropical florals I could think of, period. Beautiful, kind of hard to find, but by now you know where. Number 10 is where I'm going to cheat, because I could not separate the two. The number 10 place of the top 10 midsummer night perfumes are going to be two perfumes. I'll let you choose which you think deserves to actually be the number 10 and which one only deserves to be an honorary mention. I love them both. They do remind me of a very similar style of blending, and to me at the heart they even smell similar. So only the opening and the ending is what allows me to tell them apart. The first one is Barenia Hermes. In my view, one of the best designer market releases in the recent years, period. Why? Because it's unusual. It has niche quality concept. What do you smell and how it's blended? And yet it's so friendly, so elegant, unobtrusive, and yet it's not screechy, it's not yelling, it's not one of those Umber Max, Amberwood type of stories that are so popular. And it's made for everyone. It's everywhere. You can buy it in any department store. For that, just compliments to the chef. Here we have what I would describe a nude berry shipper. So the opening, it's only technically a shipper because it has some whiff of green herbaceous patchouli, and it contrasts itself with sour sweet berry. However, it's nude. So each component, instead of imagining this super zesty sour sweet thing, it's the opposite. It's souffle. It's just a cloud, a souffle of patchouli with effervescent something, this kind of cloud, almost if somebody give you a whiff of smoke. Doesn't smell smoky, but like a little cloud, just a little hint. And the same with berries. It's almost a foam, a berry foam on top of it. It has so much nuance that it's almost too simplistic. I know it doesn't make sense on the surface, but if you smell it, you'll know what I mean, especially if you wear it on your skin. It does migrate a lot. Some people do feel berries at the beginning, some people don't. They come and go. And even how easy it is to wear, because it's not screechy, it's not screaming at you. It's easy to not notice that there are delicacies weaved into this very user-friendly pyramid. I absolutely adore it. That said, if you're looking for something niche, if you're a niche snob, like I am every Tuesday, unless I'm busy rediscovering some designer gems that I forgot about, Room 1015 Holly Rose has the same souffle quality, but here we have cloud, souffle of patchouli, almost like pot smoke plus rose. Oh, it is not everybody's cup of tea. Also, kind of reminds me of Ducita Rosarine, I think it's called. I personally do love patchouli that is not necessarily dumpy or sour or green or doesn't grab you. There is a time and place for patchouli scents like that. Here, you have this elevated, smoothie texture that I think really allows it to stand apart from all rose patchouli scents that I know of. There is a reason why I used up 2 large decants and then went for a full-size bottle. That said, whether you pick something that you can buy easily anywhere and test and try it before you put your money down, and where you have some accent on berry plus souffle of patchouli, or if you choose to go niche, something that's not as easy to clone, you're not as likely to meet somebody at the street who smells exactly like you. Holly Rose by Room 1015. Bohemian, it's like trust fund baby. Bohemian Rose, you can't tell if she is composing an innovative cultural post-modern meta on meta music album of folk plus drum and bass, or if she just got too high and haven't slept in 48 hours. Really beautiful, relaxed rose perfume. Both of them are really beautiful. You take your pick and tell me what you think deserves to be in the top 10. I had to cheat. These two to me kind of talk about the same love story, and they do belong in the Midsummer nights. They fit in just so. That brings us to the end. Please share what kind of perfumes you think would fit the theme. If anybody wants to get into that mood, into that mindset, scent is probably the fastest way we can escape whatever the hard conditions of our life that we live in, and enjoy at least a moment of this ethereal, mystical, Shakespearean wonder. This relaxed yet sensual moment that only happens once a year, right in the midst of the summer, at night when the sun is down and the earth breathes, finally breathes with relief and hope for the next morning. Would love to hear your thoughts and your recommendations. Please let me know if this was in any way entertaining or useful. Check out the links down below. They are there to help you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because that means what? That means that we'll see each other in the next video.